Hello guys, so today is my birthday. So all I wish that you do for me is that you listen to this to the end of it. It's my birthday, but it is a reminder of my death day. Because I've come to realize that the essence of us living is that we accept our birthday equally as we accept our death day. However and whenever it comes, for we don't know. And this is what the Stoics mean when they say momentum mori, remember you will die. And in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a holy book in the East, it's written that life is preparing for death. For some of us, this is kind of a gloomy or a sad message because we're part of this society that has devised this means of constantly resisting death. Not the safety method of it, but the inevitability of it as the way of things, the mystery of the universe, the way in which God manifests His divine will, whatever you are comfortable with. Neither is it an effort for us to feel detached of our dreams, our aspirations, all that brings us alive. But the knowledge of a death helps us to live life more timely, to delight in the process of life. The beauty of having taken form in human birth, to be here now. For when you live in the past, there's likely to be depression. In the future, there's anxiety. When you can find the time to be here now, where then is now and now is then out of that, you find the energy to do whatever it is that you want to do, and there's no burnout. When you can listen to the thickness of this moment, then out of it comes what in the East they call your dharma, or your path of action, including those paths in which you are busy rejecting when you have structures of your mind or what is, or when you are busy becoming somebody. When you can listen to the fullness of this moment, then out of that comes the very wise statement that there's nothing to do and nothing is left undone. Because whatever I think that you do, listening from inside, if you are called to be busy, go ahead and be busy. If you want to be lazy, go ahead and be lazy. As long as you are in this human form, there must be something to do, and you do it as part of honoring your being. Not for someone else, not for him, but honoring your being, even if someone else is benefiting. And the knowledge of our death helps disappears the ego. The ego, I've come to discover, is one of man's worst enemy. By ego, I mean the structure of the mind of who you think you are. What I deserve, my desires, especially against others. Only to realize that who you think you are is not real. You are not a lie, but you are not the absolute truth. That you exist on other planes of reality that's equally as real as something that you can feel and touch and taste. Because who you are in essence has no form. Who you truly are does not exist in form. Call it spirit, call it atma, call it consciousness, call it awareness. Different appellations, different traditions. The part of you that who you think you are is just a process on a mission, and you're going to drop that. When you're waiting for who you think you are to who you are in essence, then you can delight in your own process. You realize that you're just an unfolding process. And interestingly, you are the one behind the law. You're just a lawful process, and you're the one behind the law, not human law. The possibility of being the creator and the creation. If you identify yourself with the creation, you're just a process. You're just a process, you're just a happening. When you awaken for who you think you are to who you are in essence, then you can watch your own being. You realize that the part of you that is tall, dark, short, crooked, whatever form that you have taken, it has nothing to do with you. Your consent was not asked. No permission was asked from you before giving you that body, that form, whatever form you have taken. Is it an error? Or you have been called to fulfill the form that must use that form, a purpose that must use that form. For most of us, we are busy treating it like an error. When you are awakened for who you think you are to who you are in essence, then you can look at this form and laugh at your own insecurities. I have a big head, black face. I did not put them there. And you look at your own ridiculousness, and there's no blame, there's no shame. It's just growth. You can watch over yourself, your emotions. I get sad, I get angry. You go from emotions, you can go to your personality, who you are. I'm depressed, I'm happy, I'm proud, I'm poor, I have fears, and all those things. It's allowing your own humanity, allowing your beauty. For out of those imperfections come your perfection. Then you can watch your own self and you realize that there's work to be done. On one level, there's work to be done. On another level, it's just a play, dance, or a lila. I used to get so offended when someone tells me that life is a game, because I'm busy becoming somebody. I'm busy living life. And I'm told that life is a game, only to realize that it's truly a game. And the image that I have of life being a game is you playing a video game. The image that you have, whatever you see, is not real. It's only relatively real, or maybe an illusion. But the one behind the game is absolutely real. The relationship between the body and the soul, the relationship between the body and awareness, the relationship between the body and consciousness, whatever appellation that is comfortable with you. See, they're free this freedom from this ego illusion. When you're free from your ego illusion or the attachment to the ego, the one experiences the freedom from suffering, the tumor, and the fear that is attached to you thinking that you're real. But the ego is very functional. But it's functional only within a limited scope of reality. You have to be able to have this emptiness, this freedom, and still fulfill the ego. See, this freedom, when you're free from this ego illusion, from the trap, from the attachments of ego, you don't give up the ego, you give up the attachment to the ego. When you're free from this attachment to the ego, the one experiences supreme peace and happiness. And that is the peace and happiness that Christ said that is beyond human understanding. And these are the basis on which self-love is obtained. Not reading a couple of books and looking yourself after the mirror and tell yourself something that you are or are not and forcing other people to believe. The moment you can appreciate your own process, then you don't need anyone to accept you. You have to be able to allow your own. It's not love or like. It's the one behind love or like. It's appreciation, because you have to realize that embodying in each of us is that bad and good. And it's part of the process. And when you are in this place of peace, then when you look at someone else, you begin to meet them behind the veil of personality and ego. A pure soul that has caught up in their own form in human body and involved in their own drama. Every single one of us is involved in their own drama, especially me, all of us. The image that I have is this one of Ramdas. Ramdas, a spiritual teacher, says, when you go into the woods, you see tall, short trees, leaves falling, all those things happening to nature, you don't judge them. You don't say this tree should have been tall, it should have been like this or that or that. But the minute you get into humans, you begin to have compartment of your minds of how human beings should manifest. You begin to have structures of your mind which is okay according to you. It should have been tall. It's better if it's tall. Short, no, he's not smart enough for me. And those are coming out of your own space of insecurity, out of your own insecurity. When your judgment mind is replaced with the appreciation mind, then you begin to allow other people to be in that freedom in which you exist. And you don't need people to be like this or like that for you to love them. When you meet wise beings, holy beings, enlightened beings, the beings that have gone through this place of cosmic consciousness, that is called, usually. They don't need you to be like this or like that for them to love you. Because they can see behind the game, and unconditional love is the product of that. And the only way out is in. Sadhguru says the only way out is in. You have to feel that in yourself. You have this peace, this love, unconditional love of yourself. Then you can offer that space, the freedom to everyone you meet. And my dear brothers and sisters, this is what every religious system is about. All of them without exception. But not in a conscious way that is freeing them from the attachments of the ego. They bring spiritual practices to help you remember why you have taken birth. Remember why you have taken birth in this human form. But that remembrance doesn't happen unless you are awakened. Otherwise, you feed yourself with some spiritual practices and this peace of mind and this security against going to hell. But it doesn't bring about the transformation that is potentially or readily available to mankind. You can see it in every part of them. The essence of all this is oneness, bringing to oneness, one coming to the one, God or whatever. And I do not suppose that I have absolute truth. I'm not telling you supreme truth, but allow this to pass through your own system of truth. You got to listen to your own truth. You have to listen to your own truth. And in responding to truth, I have this image of Gandhiji, Mahatmaji, He's a spiritual and political activist in the East, in India. He has this to say: only God knows absolute truth. I am only human. I know relative truth. And my understanding of truth changes from time to time. And my commitment is to truth and not consistency. Allow that go through your system. And how long have you been committed to truth or consistency? Are you committed to truth or consistency? Because what you said yesterday, you have to defend it to be truth and times again, including me. I look back at horror as how attached I was to my consistency. Only God knows absolute truth. I am only human. I know relative truth. And my understanding of truth changes from time to time. And my commitment must be to truth and not consistency. Every single one of them is one. And I prove that to you. In India, when they meet and depart, they say Namaste, which means I honor the place in you where you are in yourself and I am in myself. There's only one of us. Let there be one, O Lord, as you and I are one with the Father. La ilaha illallah, one, only one God. And Kabir, the Sufi poet, used to say, do whatever you do with one another, but never put them out of your heart. Because the mind creates this boundary between you and I, but the heart is a vehicle of unity, union, in which you see your brother or a fellow human being suffering, and your heart goes, you feel the compassion and the pain of the heart. And in yoga, when a yogi meets another yogi, he only meets himself. Yoga from the word yog, union, which means one. And astonishingly, in science, Einstein needs no introduction, of course. Einstein has this to say about humanity. The human being is part of a whole called universe. He is limited in time and space. He experiences himself, thoughts, feelings, and something that is separate from the rest of us. And this is kind of an illusion to his consciousness. And this illusion has reduced him to the prison of his mind. And the prison restricting him to only his personal desires and to those close to him. That your duty, your work, or freedom is in expanding your compassion to the whole of the universe and to all creatures. It's a hard one. Because for most of us living in the compartments of our mind, we keep making separations of which one is best for us. And the freedom, they're asking you, freedom lies in expanding your compassion to all the horrible people, horrible things you see. How is that possible? But when you're through spiritual practices and when your consciousness begins to thicken, then you can see behind the game. And you can look at it and say, I don't understand, but there's wisdom behind it. It's perfect. And you begin to meet people behind the veil of their personality and ego, and that is where freedom lies. Kabir, the Sufi poet, used to look at someone and say, who do I preach to? Because for everyone he sees, behind all that is God taking form, his human body caught in their own drama, that have to go through this process of humanity to get back to who they truly are. Oneness with the one God. Who do I preach to? Because everyone you look at, you see yourself. It's a reflection of your own self, caught in your own drama. And Mother Teresa, when she was picking up lepers in the streets of Calcutta, those horrible looking lepers, all in spit and sweat, all that, she picked them with so much compassion. And people look at her and say, isn't she courageous? She's so courageous. And they got, Mother Teresa, where do you find this energy? Where do you find this compassion? She looks confused. She says, I am serving Christ in his most distressed form. Who don't you see as Christ? Begin. Is something wrong with her? Does she know what we don't know? Or maybe she's living on a plane of reality that is so real to her that she can touch and feel. You have to be free. You have to be able to see behind the game. I ask you only to live on these two planes of reality. The body and the one behind the body. When meditators meditate, they used to say, I am not my body, I am not my mind. Because you're just truly worth more. I honor the place in you when you are in yourself, and I am in myself. There could only be one of us. Namaste.